Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to Duxford. Now, Duxford can mean only one thing. We're looking at a warbird, and this is the brand new F4F-4 variant Wildcat that gotfriends are just about to release, and a huge thank you to them for giving me the opportunity to fly their Wildcat and also to show it to you in this video. Really exciting because also they've included a repaint, as you can see here, of the Fleet Air Arm Wildcat. That is based at Duxford right now and is owned by the Fighter Collection. There you go. I just wanted you to hear the wings unfolding there. Just one of the features of the Wildcat. It's really exciting to have a new warbird in the sim, and it's a good time to tell you that we do have a Discord. So if you're into warbirds, if you're into general aviation, we've got a great Discord. I'll put a link down below. We share screenshots. We do group flights. We talk about aviation history. There's some really clever people on there that know a lot more about this kind of thing than I do, which is kind of handy. But it's a great community, really is. So have a look below for the Discord invite. Anyway, back to the Wildcat. So there's a whole bunch of features with this. What we're going to do is take a look at those. We're going to take her for a flight, just see how she feels, and see how much we can pack into it. This Wildcat's got droppable bombs. It's got firing guns. You can have a look in the avionics bay. There's an awful lot that's gone into it, so I'm going to try and cover it all. They've given me a list of all the bits and bobs that come with it, so it's worth covering all that off in detail because they've been working on this for 2 years now, which is a long time. So expected to be released by the end of September. The in-game marketplace release, of course, is going to be determined by Microsoft, and it's worth noting that the guns, bombs, and an unannounced delivery will be only available on the website, and that's due to Marketplace's strict no weapon and ESRP rating. And last but not least, it's going to be $19.99 on release. Anyway, that's just some of the information up front. Let's get inside the Wildcat and let's see what it's all about. And more importantly, let's get into the air. Okay, here we are in the cockpit, and what a lovely cockpit it is. Yeah, it feels really right. It has a very kind of tactile feel to it, a weathered warbird. You can almost smell the oil and fuel, as opposed to, you know, sometimes when you get a third-party aircraft and it doesn't have that kind of lived-in feel to it. This is really nice. I like it. I like the little weathered edges to the panels and that kind of thing. It well, makes it feel real, and that's pretty good. I'm just going to show you some things what you can look at from the cockpit view. So if I now slew out, and we will go back down here, and I've never used these controls before apart from with this aircraft, because it's how you can do a couple of things. So bear with me. So if we come to this point here and we undo the latches, we can have a look inside the avionics bay. Now this doesn't actually do anything. It's purely just so you can have a look and you know, just out of interest, see what everything is about. We can see some tanks there, some of the bits and bobs. One of the little things that I thought was rather cool is if I move the rudder pedals and the elevator, you see even the cables move as well. That is a nice little touch. I like that. So we can close that hatch now. There we go. And then if we quickly run round to the front, now you can't actually remove the engine cowling, but if we have a sneaky peek in through the cowl flaps, you can actually see a bit of the detail of the engine. So they've, you know, they've not just done like a cosmetic front piece. They've actually modelled quite a lot of the engine is in there as well. You can see the detail on that cylinder head there. So again, nice little touch that gives you a bit more of an appreciation of the aircraft. Right, there we go. That's better. Back in here. Right, so as I said, what we're going to do is we're going to take off here from Duxford. We're just going to fly out of the area, just have a couple of bits and pieces on the aircraft, then we'll come back and do a landing. One of the interesting things about the Wildcat was obviously it was designed for carrier landings, which means whack it down, use the tail hook to get a cable, you come to a stop. So when you're landing on a airstrip like this, it has some different behaviours. For example, it is prone, if you're not careful, to ground looping. And I had a quick go in it last night to get used to where some of the switches and things were. And I would not be honest with you if I didn't admit that my first landing I did a ground loop, because it's something I wasn't quite expecting. So be ready for that when you land. And it was interesting, the landing that I did the ground loop on was the kind of landing that I would feel it was like if I was flying the Spit, I'd be kind of greasing it in. You know, you're coming in with a grin on your face, thinking that you're a steely-eyed fighter pilot. You gently kiss the earth, and then all of a sudden, wallop, it was going to the right and doing a ground loop. So just something you need to be aware of. Anyway, two caveats. One, this is a very close to final, but not final release version. Pre-release version means that things are subject to change. There might be improvements, there might be additions. The other caveat to mention is that at the moment with this version, there is no manual. They're doing an extensive manual, which they're still working on. So I don't have access to that. So I'm really kind of feeling things out as I go. And I found an old Wildcat manual online where I can at least see some things like manifold pressure, RPM settings for cruise, that kind of stuff. But really, it is just winging it and just seeing how we go. By the time you get this, when you purchase it, you'll have a nice manual which will give you a lot more detail. What I am going to do is use the checklists, because that's the best indication I've got of what to do. I normally cannot stand using these menu checklists, and I don't normally use them, but because I think it's kind of an immersion killer having this big thing in front of your screen. But it's the only way we're going to really get through this alive. And I do hope you've signed the insurance waiver. So that is what we're going to do. Right. Okay. Let's get going. So pre-flight checks, map tray. Oh yeah, let me show you that. So the map tray gives us some options to have some other bits and bobs there as well. So I have got ground handling authentic, aerobatic smoke. Well, it is what it is. Aerobatic smoke. You can have some smoke on while you're doing your aerobatics, and that's also works in multiplayer. Obviously, I've not tested it yet, but if you are flying with someone else who is in this aircraft and you've got it as well, and they turn their smoke on, you're going to see it. Handle interactions. Now, we'll play with that, but this has got winding landing gear that you had to wind. And also it's got the cowl flaps that you have to wind. This literally means that you would have been pumping away. From what I've seen one real world pilot say 28 winds. I've seen another say, I think it was about 32. That's the amount of work you're having to do to get that to work. Now, I've got a up-down gear switch on my Honeycomb. So I have got it's set to WIMP mode at the moment, which really means I don't have to do all the winding. I can literally move my handle up and down and it'll do the work for me. But we'll have a look at that in the air because I'm interested to have a play with it. And it's not something I've looked at yet. Refill drop tanks. If we've added the drop tanks, that does exactly what it says on the tin. Mirror installed. We've got a mirror up here, and also you can adjust the angle of it. Now, I left it in there because I just wanted to show you what it was about. Looking at the Wildcat that they have at Duxford, I didn't see the mirror installed on it. So what I am going to do is just take that off. Primer simulation, you can really just select a realistic primer simulation rather than primer doesn't really matter what you do to it. I've got that selected as well because I'm a big boy and I shouldn't be getting these things wrong. And then you can fold and unfold the wings. We've got them unfolded and locked here. So that is what that does. Wings are unfolded, left drop tank, right drop tank, we're not going to worry about. Left bomb, right bomb, we're going to be, well, I say unrealistic and see if I can load those in the air. I'm not sure if it will let me, but for the time being, we're not going to take off with bombs. Weight and balance verified, we've done that. Right, battery voltage, let's have a look at that. So we can see the indicator down here. We can, obviously it's not going to do anything at the moment because we haven't got the generators on, but you can see it's looking at the battery volts there. We haven't got the battery on, but presumably you can still see that without the battery actually being operated. Master battery, we can now switch on. Lovely as it all winds up. Cockpit lights, don't need to worry about that. Panel light brightness, daytime, not worried about that. Cockpit switch, compass lights, and chartboard lights, not worried about that. Circuit breakers, check that they're all in. They are, that's good. Where did I get to? Right, generator breaker on. Now that was down. Was that one? I think it's that one. I think it's that one. Generator safety switch. That seems to be the obvious thing to me. Landing flaps are in the up position. Elevator trim handle neutral. Where's it gone? There it is. Elevator trim handle neutral. Rudder is neutral and aileron is neutral. And tail wheel, which is down here, is unlocked because we need it unlocked while we're doing our taxiing and all that kind of stuff. Artificial horizon is uncaged. When that is on, it's caged. When it's off, it's uncaged. Altimeter calibrated. So what I'm going to do, we're not really going anywhere. So I'm just going to set the altimeter to show 0 altitude. Just because that makes sense because we're flying in the local area. So that effectively is our QFE. Control surfaces free and correct. Let's have a whap on that. Check see if my head tracking is working fine. Elevators all good. Perfect. Okay, before starting engine, magnetos. Oh, no, let's go back up here. Right, main selected on the fuel. That's one of the reasons why I hate these kind of in-game checklists because they just get in the way. But great that developers actually put them in here for those that like to use them. Just a personal preference. I'm an old fart, what can I say? Right, emergency fuel pump switch on. Wrong click spot. We don't want to drop the tail hook. Emergency fuel pump, there we go, is on. Magnetos to both. Throttle lever increased above 10%, so we're just cracking it. Mixture full rich, and propeller lever pulled to 0%. Okay, interesting. I think, oh no, that's pulled, so I have pulled it to 0%. So that's coarse, and you can actually see. There you go. You can actually see it's an electrically. My understanding is an electrically driven propeller, so that's why we're able to do it on the ground without any kind of hydraulic pressure coming from the oil into the governor. Right, where do we get to? Primer pumped to ready. So let's pump up the jams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to give it 6 just on the safe side. You who has the benefit of the manual will be able to see exactly what that should be. Right, cowling flaps. I'm going to open them. Cowling flaps. Yeah, I was going to say I'll call them cowl flaps, but it does say cowling flaps there. Clicked it when they're already open, so let's wind them up. Right, where do we get to? Section light brightness, not worried about that. Approach lights, oh yeah, let's do this right. Where did the approach lights go? There we go. Approach lights on. wing running lights. There's a few lights. There are quite a lot of light options, and I think a lot of these are on by default. If we actually just pop outside, we can see some of them. There we go. There's the approach lights, and you can see the nav lights, as we'd call them, on the wings and also on the tail there. Right, let's hop back in. So we've done that. Our smoke generator is off. That's fine. Okay, starting engine. Here we go. So start switch held until engine start, and then generator switch is on. So just so we get our bearings, generator switch on once we've started. Okay, let's go. And she doesn't want to start, so maybe I haven't pumped up the jams enough. Let's have a quick check I've not done anything stupid. Mags are on, battery is on, everything's tickety-boo there. I have got fuel selected, so we shouldn't have any issues there. So I probably just need to prime it a bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, it could be that I've over-primed it. Who knows? And she's still not starting. Okay, let's think this through again. Could I have over-primed it? Does it simulate over-priming? I wonder. Quick check, because that's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, so let's turn the mags off. And let's run the starter. And we'll just get rid of the fuel that's in there. Okay, that's all good. Now we'll put the mags back on. And now I'm just going to give it, I'll give it 4. What? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try now. Well, it doesn't seem to want to get going, does it? Interesting. Okay, let's have a think about this. Let's have a think about this. So, that's all on. That should be fine. The only thing I haven't done is the generator switch, which it says to turn on once we get going. We have got fuel there. Let's just quickly check the fuel tanks. We have got fuel, so that's absolutely fine. Shouldn't be any issues there. I can't think of anything else. So maybe it's just not priming it enough. Let's go for more prime. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Aha! Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it, but that the animation for when the primer plunger is going in is getting slower as we get more primed. So there's a great indication of just how you can feel the aircraft when you know you're getting to the right primer state. That's a really nice little feature, that, and it's interesting. I know when I first tried it last night, I hadn't picked up on that last night. When I first had a quick go in it, it felt that the primer plunger was just a little bit too easy to move. And now I fully understand why, because they've modelled that, you know, that pressure, because we've built up the prime in the engine. They've modelled that pressure. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. Let's start. There we go. There we go. Generator on. Right, let's just have a quick look. T's and P's. Everything's looking fine there. Don't want to do anything silly with the engine until we build up our temperatures. Okay, all good. Let's have a quick look here before taxi. So we'll put the old headphones on. If I can figure out, was it that switch there? No. Which switch was it? I'm trying to remember now. There we go. So now we put the headphones on, you can see it's gone slightly quieter, but actually, do you know what? I'm going to take the headphones off, and then you can hear the roar of the engine, but at least they've got that feature in there, so you can have a slightly quieter ride. Let's have the pitot heat on. Okay, just check the temperatures now. Everything's looking good. Another warm up. Right, prior to takeoff, landing light on, propeller lever pushed 100%, canopy position as required. Yep. Okay. Seems strange having the prop still in fully coarse. I am just going to move that into fully fine now. I don't know if that's right, but it just kind of feels like the right thing to do. Okay, anything else here that we need to look at? So we've got the approach light, section light, there's the landing light, so we'll do that when we get close to the runway. Everything else is looking fine. Oh, let me just show you something else. Let's get rid of that. So the gun camera, where have you gone? Look at this. See the animation? That's pretty cool. Okay, warming up nicely. I'm interested to see this. These relate to the state of the landing gear. So you can see it's down, and that indicates there, that flag means that the landing gear is down a lot. So interesting to see what happens to that when we get into the air. Let's put our bomb selector back into neutral. We haven't got any bombs. Everything is looking good there. Okie doke. Right, so what have we got? The wind is 2 from 270, so hardly anything. So we'll taxi down there, past the Spitfires and Hurricanes, and then come back onto the grass runway. Okay, let's remove the chocks. So using differential braking and just feeding that out again. Needs a bit more power than it originally feels natural to do. Keep doing some S turns. As you can see, with that nose and the cowl flaps, you cannot see a great deal. So we'll just do some S turns just to keep us on track. Say hello to the Spits and Hurricanes. There we go. Right. Let's just come round here. I'm just going to do a quick run up. Nothing too special. Get us into wind. There we go. And again, no manual, so I'm just going to do what feels right. Make sure we don't tip over. Do a quick mag check. Everything's good there. Getting the click spots right. There we go. Always seems to be a tricky thing for me. Click spots and mag checks just always never quite seems to go to plan. Right, let's have the landing light on. As we're about to enter the active. There we go. There we are. Right, nice and gentle. Okay, so trim, doesn't say anything in the checklist about trim settings, so I've just kind of left everything where it was. That's kind of how I was flying it last night, without any real issues. So, you know, again, in the manual it might give you some different trim settings to use. Right, let's get going. So, just move a few bits and bobs around. Power on. Release the brakes. Get on the pedals. Advancing the throttle fully forwards. Up we go, gear up, watching the indicator, see the flag disappeared, and a little red marker there is moving aft. Okay, let's come back on the power, come back on the RPM. So we're just nice and gentle, and we can close the canopy, which is, get my mouse pointer here. And you can do it in different stages. There we go. Beautiful. So, as far as flying goes, she's very smooth. I can't really, haven't really felt any strange behaviour. That's for sure. Flies really nicely. Landing, as I say, you just got to watch out for the ground looping. In terms of aerobatics, she's quite stable. I've no idea what it's like to fly a Wildcat, having never flown one in real life, so I can't compare it. I can't talk about the authenticity. But yeah, it feels good. I mean, I know it's hard to pick that up from watching a video, but it is very smooth. I'm just doing a little bit of trimming now, just to trim us out. But yeah, it feels great. I'm going to turn off the fuel pump now. Wrong one. Yeah, you just have to watch those click spots. Which reminds me, let's get the checklist out. Cruising. So landing gear is raised. Yeah, fuel pump I've just switched off. Landing lights and approach lights off above 10,000 feet. Well, we're not going to be going that high. And all that, we've done some trimming, so that's all good to go. Happy with that. Okay, so let's close that. Gun sight, if you want to see that, is down here. So we have that gun sight, and then we have that gun sight. So that's all nicely done, and you can adjust the brightness as well. Let's see if I can just move that. Just trying to see how to switch it off, but I can't seem to work that out. There we go. Bit of flicking around with the mouse there, and we got there in the end. So yeah, as I say, really nice, really stable to fly. I like the sounds as well. I'm hoping that you can hear those nicely. It's very difficult. Don't want to talk too much, so I want you to hear it as well. But it's got a nice bassy rumble to it. Very atmospheric. So let's have a quick look at all the instruments. Everything's looking fine. Happy with that. Going to close the cowl flaps now. Over here. There we go. Right. Let's have a look at the outside. They certainly look purposeful, don't they? They're not the most elegant. It's a bit like the Hellcat. Not the most elegant, but certainly looks purposeful. Now, let's have a quick look at some settings, because I've just kind of set the aeroplane to what feels right and not done a great deal else. So for cruising at where we are, 6,000 feet, we should have RPM of 2270. And we should have manifold pressure of 33 if we're going for the full bore. So we're not a million miles off on the manifold pressure, but we do need to increase the RPM a bit. What did we say? 2270. Actually, no, that wasn't a million miles off. 2270, yeah. Wasn't far off at all. Just checking the trim again. So now that we're above 4,000 feet as well, we can put in the... oh, it's interesting, it's done automatically. The supercharger is automatic. So you don't have to do that. I was going to change that, but it's already done it for us. So that's fine. I wonder if we can... Yeah, that's fully automatic. Which is kind of cool. Saves you having to worry about it. But if you're the type of person that likes to do it manually, maybe that's something that's going to appear in the future, or maybe I just haven't figured out. Oh, I know what it is. I wonder if it's this. No. I thought maybe that might put it into steely-eyed fighter pilot mode. Okay, so let's have a look at stalling, see how that feels. Just watching the speed bleeding off now. Pull back on the stick. Trying to maintain zero altitude change while we come off on the power. Stick coming back even more, ever so slightly. I'd expect we're going to go soon. Stick all the way back and we drop the right wing. So there's no judder or anything like that. There's no wobble. We drop the right wing and recover pretty easily. No dramas there. So let's get back up to 33. Let's now have a look at a loop. Don't know the aerobatic speed limitations, so we'll just drop the nose a little bit, build up some speed, and then we'll take it for a loop. The Wildcat, of course, was replaced by the Hellcat, and we've already got the Hellcat in the sim from Flying Iron Simulation, so it's interesting to see the Wildcat. Wildcat was less powerful, but very nimble. Just wasn't good enough to keep up with the zeros, hence why they had to develop the Hellcat. So let's just come over the top. So again, looping, quite well behaved, no nasty behaviour there, and as I say, she's quite nimble. Can certainly throw her around a little bit. sound is nice, I have to say. You know, sometimes you get aircraft, especially years ago with some of the older add-on aircraft, where when you adjust the throttle, it just sounds very synthetic. Whereas this for me actually sounds really nice. I like that. Okie doke, right, so as I said before, you can fire guns and you can fit bombs. So we'll have a quick look at that. I'll go to the let's do it inside first of all, and then we can do it from the outside if I can remember which button. There we go. So that's our machine guns. Let's go to the outside. And as I said before, that's viewable in multiplayer as well. I am going to turn off the landing lights. Landing lights dangling down doesn't feel very good, especially at high speed. So that's the guns. Of course, I have to say again, if you buy this through the marketplace, you won't get the weaponry because it's against Asobo's rules. You'll only get the weaponry if you buy it from the gotfriends website. Right, to load bombs, we flick these switches here. Aha! So, as I kind of thought before, you have to do that on the ground. So don't worry, we're going to land, we'll load up with some bombs, and then we'll go off and do some bombing. Okay, so just quickly looking across at what we get on here, I'm going to read through some of the bits that we haven't covered so you can see what's included in this aeroplane. So it's got a high fidelity flight model with NPS CFD and soft body simulation. Free castering tailwheel with authentic and simplified options, aircraft carrier compatibility with built-in launch and recovery features, 8 4K liveries with historical relevance. Currently there may be more release, it says. Complex electrical system with circuit breakers, engine vibration effects on the interior and the exterior, handle interactions with automatic and hand cranked modes, propeller damage, crash damage and visual sparks, smoke and heat, in-cockpit checklist with additional customization options, collimated gun sight with 2 reticle options, tailhook assisted landing, simulated launch bar for assisted launching, we'll have a look at that as well, aircraft carrier support with touching cloud, strike simulations and Super Carrier Pro, custom WY sound pack, vintage style VHF radio and transponder units, multiplayer animations on the canopy, wing folding, weapons, lights and code of the day signals. And that's great, because how many times have you done a multiplayer flight and you don't see animations and things on other aircraft? So that's pretty good. Deeply simulated engine priming with animated feedback. We saw the priming before. Dynamic airframe drag, canopy position, fuel tanks, bombs and cowl flaps, droppable bombs with real-time physics and visual explosions based on ground environment, droppable drop tanks with real-time physics and fuel dumping visual effects, gunfire with nighttime tracers and visual effects with multiplayer support, custom gun camera overlay with vintage film effects, headphone simulation built into the aircraft, emergency SOS Morse signal and launchable Molin signal flare with multiplayer support. I don't know if that's Molin or Molin. Smoke generator with multiplayer support, 3D modelled engine, interior avionics bay and landing gear bay with intricate animations, startup smoke, combustion, heat, frost, landing, flyby, water and vortices effects, realistic interior lighting system with dimmer controllers, complex primer simulation with optional toggle to disable primer requirement, and fully explorable engine bay, rear bay and cockpit. Blimey, what a lot there. Whole lot of stuff in there, and that's just reminded me, let's have a look at the smoke, see if we can do this. So pull out the map tray. I don't know if it'll let me do it in the air. Where is it? Aerobatic smoke, there we go. I don't think, has that switched it on yet? I don't think so, because I think I probably need to do the switch. Oh no, that switched it on. So there we go. We've got the smoke. Let me see what this does. Smoke off. Yeah, turns it off. And smoke on. There you go. We have smoke. And again, that's multiplayer. So as long as someone else has got the aeroplane, they'll see you do your smoke on go routine. Okay, let's have that off. Right, anything else that I want to show you up here? No, I think what we'll do now is we'll get on the ground, and then I can load up with some bombs and also show you the carrier launch. Right, so we are fully loaded up with the bombs now. So we're going to go and do some damage, and we're also going to do the simulated carrier takeoff. We're going to pretend that just for us they've put in a nice little steam catapult at Duxford. So repeat the process, though we're not going to go quite down as far towards the end. Just realised I've got the tail wheel locked. There we go. Let's have a cheeky scoot round the back here. So what we'll do is we'll do a carrier launch. We'll go off. We'll drop the bombs. We'll have a look at the manual controls for the landing gear, that winding. And then we'll land, and then we'll head to the officers' mess for a congratulatory pint of something. There's the runway, or the deck as we'll be calling it today. It's great that we've got this repaint here, because it's just so fitting for Duxford. There is also, I should say actually, the Martlet, which is the UK version, was the first US supplied aircraft to shoot down a enemy aircraft in World War II over a Scapa Flow, shot down a German bomber. And there is, and I'll put a link to it down below, there is some freeware scenery from Ian's Dark Corner, which is of HMS Tern, which was a airfield not far from Scapa Flow, where they used to disembark aircraft from aircraft carriers that had gone into Scapa Flow. And it's like stepping back in time. It's as it was back in the day. And if you want to do some kind of authentic martlet flying, then that's a good place to go to. Right, okay. Focus, quick check around, make sure we're not doing anything stupid. Everything is looking good. So to do our launch simulation, we flick this switch here. So let's just quickly check that we haven't done anything silly. I'm going to close the canopy, because let's face it, we're not going to have time to bail out at this rate. And then we've got 3 seconds. Once you click launch, you've got 3 seconds. So I'm going to give it some beans and click launch, and then get ready. There we go. Whoa! And we're in the air. Look at that. Launched from HMS Duxford. Fantastic. And also, if you've got the relevant third-party carriers, then you can do a tailhook landing. I haven't got that, so I can't show you that. But it's kind of cool that they've built that in. it's a nice bit of fun. Right, let's have some trimmage. Let's come back on the there we go. Let's have a quick look. Ready to drop some bombs. Okay, now I'm trying to think of the best way I can demonstrate dropping bombs. I think because you'll want to see the explosion and you'll want to see them drop. So we're not going to do any dive bombing because I'm not sure if I would actually. Maybe I would. Maybe I would. Let's have a think about it. If I bring it round, where's a good target? Where's a good target? I quite like to look at that circular patch of trees. Let's hope that there are no dog walkers, ramblers, or anyone like that in there. But it's got a nice dark background to it, so it might be easy to get into. So I'm first going to arm the right-hand bomb, and then I'm using you can release using that red thing there, but I've got a button set up because it will be slightly easier, and in doing that I've actually flown into a bit of cloud and lost sight of the target. Let's go around this way. There we go, there's a nice one there. I'm going to go for that circular patch of trees there and get ready on the bomb, and then see if we can quickly show it to you as well. God, this is going to be tricky. So, point it down, switch to an external view. Oh, okay. I saw the bomb fly off there, but we've still got a bomb on the rail, so I'm not sure if I did that correctly. Let's see if we can look out for any explosion. There's no way that would have hit on target. Quite did that one right. Okay, let's try it another way. Let's come down a little bit lower. Let's have a look outside. So we have lost the bomb. We have lost the bomb. I just didn't see it impact, so let's select our other bomb. Very hard right now not to say that with an Inspector Clouseau accent. If you don't know what that means, I'm certainly not going to do an impression of it for you, but if I come down a bit lower, and then we'll have a view from the front, and then hopefully we should see the bomb impacting behind us. So let's come down, let's have the outside view. Let's go this way, and release. So we saw the splash, but we didn't necessarily see the explosion. And I want you to see the explosion. Oh, we got secondary explosion there. Okay, I don't think it's going to let me load another bomb, is it? No, that's a shame. Well, you get the idea, and it's nice that it releases. And you saw the after effects of the bomb there. And again, that's multiplayer. So your mates, you can have dogfights, and you can also bomb targets and see how close you get to it. So that adds another aspect to the simulation, which is pretty cool. Right, let's turn off the wing mode windy handle, and I'm just going to see what happens if I let's come back on the power a bit. I want want to see what happens if I try and lower the gear. So if I just do my gear handle, nothing, as you would expect. So what I'm going to do is put the switch here to, okay, I get it. In the real thing, that would select up or down. But of course it's been used for the auto, so let's see. Oh, okay. So you're having to use the mouse switch, or the mouse wheel, to furiously lower it. And if I keep turning it, it keeps cranking. And you can see the flags come up, and that's moved over to the right, so that is now showing that we are good to go. Hello? Let's have a bit more power, please. Okay, let's raise the gear. Going to keep winding the mouse wheel, and we'll keep going. There we go. So gear is now up, everything's cool. So that's quite good. And to be honest with you, it's not that difficult. It's not as difficult as I thought it would be, trying to wind that. Right, have we covered everything? I think we have. I think we have. Nothing else really to show you there. I think we'll put the bomb selector back to normal. What I think I will do is, once we get back down, I'm going to load some bombs up, and because I just want you to see the explosion. So I will have edited that in earlier. You've probably got to this point now thinking, why are you waffling on about that, mate? We've already seen it. But I'm just, it's just a thought that's come to my head, because it's only right that you see all that as well. Okie doke, right, I'm just going to quickly have a look over here and just double check that I've not missed anything else that I wanted to show you. Oh yeah, this was something here. You can just about see it's the slight vibration. They talk about the vibrations in the cockpit. You can just see these little pieces moving, and also the map tray here, just a bit of vibration there. Again, it all kind of brings it to life. Something, while I remember, and this is a bit previous because we're going to talk about it, or we'll see it when we come into landing, is one of the nice things about this is it does actually feel like it's got drag. Again, on some aircraft, I can turn that off now, you idiot. Oi, tail hook. Must remember, head to the right when doing that. Yeah, some aircraft don't really seem to have realistic drag, so you come back on the power and the thing is still skating forward like it's on ice, but this does have a nice realistic drag feeling to it. Right, let's go back to Duxford. Quick check on the engine settings. Let's come back on the power a little bit. Or the RPM, rather. RPM, Roger. Blimey, I was in a whole different place then. I was on the radio. So we'll just do a pass at Duxford, down the runway, then we'll do a break and we'll do a landing. Slight bit of stuttering there. This, of course, is Chico Mix Duxford, an absolute work of art and freeware. I'll stick a link to it down below. A lot of people on our Discord like to go there. Talking of Discords, I'll put a link to the gotfriends Discord down below as well, of course. So a quick hello to Duxford. Was there at the weekend in the Battle of Britain Air Show. Lovely to be there. Like a home from home. Okay, let's go to the break now. Advance the prop. Let's get the checklist up so we can have a quick look. Jets and ordnance, we've done that. Landing lights, let's pop him back on. Approach lights already on. Trims I'm going to look at. Landing flaps in the down position. Landing gear, blah blah blah. Yeah, let's get rid of that now. A little bit too high because faffing about with that checklist. So we'll just come out a little bit. Looking at the speed, let's I'm going to put the... No, I'm not. Let's do it properly, dude. The interesting thing about this is that it does mean that you've got a lot to think about. Already I'm seeing my curved approach is absolutely knackered. Right, there we go. Good gear indication. Get some power on. Find the airfield again. Far too far away from it for a nice curved approach. Let's drop the flap. Flap in the Wildcat is like the Hellcat in that it's kind of speed dependent as well. So if you're going very fast, it blows the flap to a position where it's not going to do any damage. Right, let's concentrate. Trying to do not quite a curved approach, but I just want to keep the runway off to the left there because of the nose and everything, we need to be able to see that. We also need to open up the cowl flaps. Let's check my head tracking. Let's get sight of the runway, there it is. And let's get ready to not ground loop. This drops like a stone once you chop the power. So I'm just being a little bit cautious, feeling that out. There we go, down, and there is the ground loop. Now that's exactly what I'm talking about. So it feels like it should be nice and greasing it on, and it goes and kicks you right in the ass. And that's what you've got to watch out for. In a way, it's kind of cool because it gives you an opportunity to, you know, learn the skills, learn how to do it properly, and gives you a challenge because it would be boring if it was easy. So what we're going to do is, because of that awful landing, we're going to take off again, and damn it, we're going to do another landing just to punish myself to get it right. So let's get the head tracking back. There we go. Head tracking, it got lost a bit then. Flap up. Fuel pump on. The interesting thing about the ground loop is once you go into it, you cannot get out of it. And I remember seeing an interview with a Wildcat pilot who pretty much said that you know, I had full left rudder and I had differential braking on the left wheel then, and it was still going to go right. There was nothing I could do about it. Okay. Actually, we won't do a carrier launch, we'll just do a conventional launch. We need to wind it. Wind away. Reminds me of flying the Mark 1 Spitfire, the A2A Mark 1 Spitfire in P3D and FSX. You know, the manual wind gives you something else to think about. Okay, so for this one, let's get a slightly better prepared. So let's drop the gear again. There we go. Have a look at the outside. We've come over. See, this is one of the advantages of doing, if you were flying this in the real world, of course, your right hand would be down on that handle. Is that locked? Yeah, your right hand would be down on that handle and you wouldn't even be looking at it. So that's where the simulator makes it slightly harder. I'm leaving the fuel pump on because we're coming around. Right, flaps down. That's all done, and let's try and make less of a hash of it, please. I hope you can kind of see that this is warts and all. I try not to hide mistakes. I learn by them, and if anything, it kind of helps you. If you see me screw up, you can see what the challenges are, and you know that's not really a bad thing. Nobody is perfect, and aviation is something that you're always learning in. So let's just come round and let's try that again without. There we go, dancing on the pedals. You can't see it, but trust me, I am. There we go. There we go. Okay, we're down. Right. Well, the tail wheel wasn't locked. That happens with the tail wheel locked, trust me. That's what happened to me last night. Before anyone says, oh, I think you'll find that happened because you hadn't locked the tail wheel. Let's taxi out the way. Let's raise the flaps. So yeah, what can I say? It's a lovely little aeroplane. I have to say, originally when I first heard about the Wildcat, I thought, don't need it, got a Hellcat. But there's enough of a difference, and the extra features in this, like the bombs, the guns, that kind of thing, if you want to dogfight your mates. And also it's a different animal, it's not as powerful. Should have opened the cowl flaps for the benefit of the people who say, oh, you meant to have done that. Okay, that's interesting. Of course, it's manual cowl flap as well. There you go. So you have to keep winding those as well. Keep working the old cowl flap lever there. Yeah, it's a different animal to the Hellcat, and you'll see that when you fly it. But plenty of character. Let's bring it into the crowd, who are all saying, Jesus, don't come near us, we saw what you did with your first landing. Right, let's bring the checklist up. Let's do things properly. After landing, tail hook is retracted, landing flaps in the up position, landing light off, smoke generator is off, landing flaps, yeah, they're retracted, magnetos off. Well, just give it a quick burst on the, just to clear the plugs. There we go. Fuel selector off. Come on, get the click spot. Oh, we've got to go the other way. Okay, there we go. Actually, that's quite good. I suppose it stops you from accidentally going into it from the emergency one. Ready to get to fuel selector off. Generator switch is off. Is that the generator? No. Look at it. That's the cockpit lights. Generator off. Parking brakes. We will insert the chocks. That's the parking brake on now. Tail wheel is locked. Oxygen valve is off. That was all off. Gun sight was off. That's fine. We didn't mess about with any of those. We need to turn the pitot heat off. Or the pitot heat was already off from when I restarted loading up with the bombs. Because I didn't use the checklist then, and that's why you need a checklist, so you don't do anything silly. Right, now we will turn the battery off, and we'll shout out to the fellas on the flight line, can you please fold the wings? There we go. Get rid of the checklist. Get out of the way. You're ruining the folding. There we go. Fantastic. I love that clanking sound. So anyway, thank you very much for joining the flight. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was useful. If you did, please do consider subscribing to the channel. It'd be great to see you again. But in the meantime, thanks for coming along, and I'll see you on the channel again soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.